let's talk dogs. So, it's no secret that dogs are referred to as a man's best friend and give people so much joy. They're used for medical purposes, law enforcement, emotional connection, and just plain fun. I am here to tell you how and why growing up with dogs improved my quality of life and how it can improve yours. Let's look at some research. According to BarkBox's recent dog parent study, canines overwhelmingly have had a positive impact on a range of emotional, behavioral, and even physical qualities in their people. Dogs have so many different health benefits in so many different aspects, and that's why I think they're just great animals that can genuinely improve the quality of life for so many people. Now, I found some more research that indicates some physical benefits of owning a dog. So, research has shown that having a dog can lead to lower levels of stress for both adults and kids. They've been found to decrease the risk of asthma in children and have been linked to lower blood pressure. Last month, a study showed that older dog owners take 2,760 more steps per day on average compared to non-dog owners, which amounted to an additional 23 daily minutes of moderate exercise. A number of studies have indicated that owning a dog improves your immunity. Let me be clear, none of those words were mine, but those quotes that I found and the research that I found from various websites is my way of conveying to you guys how important having a dog can really be, and even just like the physical benefits of having a dog, because most people really don't think about like these types of benefits that could really improve your quality of life physically. Now, let's segue into my personal life, because I know that's what most people are probably interested in hearing, and let's talk about the more emotional aspect. Another quote that I found, again, not my words, it has been found that study after study has shown that owning a pet can help you maintain a more positive, optimistic perspective on life and what you're faced with. Better yet, they can even lessen the symptoms of depression and anxiety. Okay, now that I threw out all these different quotes to you guys, I'm going to get into using my own words. I really liked this quote that I just stated, this most recent quote, because I am living proof that that is true. I, growing up, have suffered from anxiety and depression pretty much my entire life. I have experienced loss, I've experienced trauma, I've experienced physical and mental angst, and a lot more. I'm going to get into the brief synopsis of getting Abby and her life and my connection with her. We got Abby when I was 6 years old. She was a 1-year-old yellow lab that we found on Craigslist. I'm sure it was very unsafe how we got her, but we were safe and sound. We brought her home. It was great. We got her for free because I think this family was just trying to get rid of her because they were not taking good care of her, so we gave her a much better home. We did not get her from a breeder or anything. We got her off of Craigslist. And basically, she was and will always be my best friend. She pretty much helped me through everything. We had such a strong bond. She cuddled with me when I was tired. She gave me kisses. She played with me. She was a spaz, but she was so funny. She would hold me when I was sad. She would let me put all of my weight on her to cuddle with her. And for me, as someone who has always had really bad anxiety, being able to have that touch of being able to hug her so tightly and put so much of my weight on her, or to let her put all of her weight on me, almost as if she was a weighted blanket, was very therapeutic for me and helped me so much with reducing stress. And even though she was not a licensed therapy dog, my main idea that sparked to talk about this in general is she was my therapy dog. She was not a trained professional, but in my eyes, she was like a therapy dog. The state of my emotional well-being and mental health would not be as healthy as it is if I did not have her in my life. And now, what? A dramatic poem written by me when I was 8 years old about my dog, Abby Shamrock Contreras. Where did she just come from? Cue dramatic music, please. Cue black and white filter, please. Abby. She's never saddy. She's very happy. She loves her daddy. And she's so cool. She doesn't use a tool. And that's okay. Because that's her way of saying, hey, I love you, Abby. Thank you. To include some lighthearted stories about Abby, we decided to go to the beach because it was a super nice day out, and because the beaches weren't open yet, we let her off her leash to run around, and the second my dad unhooked the leash, she sprinted into the water, and she just kept going and going and going, and she didn't turn around and come back, so my dad had to rip off his shirt and shoes and sprint into the water so far to get her. They both almost drowned. She almost died. He cut his foot on a rock. Other civilians were screaming. I was crying. My brother was crying. My mom was crying. It was a mess. And she was smiling and having the time of her life because she loved the water. She loved the ocean. She was crazy. She was a spaz, but she loved everyone. She was a yellow lab. Labs are known to love people so much. The way her story ended was really tragic. To give a brief synopsis of it, I was 13 in 8th grade and she suddenly just like stopped being hyper. She was sleeping more. She was going up and down the stairs less, and I got a weird feeling in my gut. I thought something was wrong. And my parents took her to the vet, and the vet said she was most likely going to be fine, but she needed a couple tests because he didn't see a problem yet. But then some test results came back and we found out that she was in kidney failure, and we had to put her down immediately. And it was truly the worst day of my life. I watched my best friend physically die in my arms. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but it was very worth it because the 8 years that she was alive and in my life were the best years I've ever experienced in my entire life. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Now let's talk about Coda, my other dog. So, the day after Abby died, my dad found out that at our local Petco, there were a bunch of puppies being adopted, and he said, no, we're all sad, let's just go pet some dogs and to make us feel better. We go to Petco, we pet some dogs, and after some convincing, we came home with another dog the day after Abby died, and that dog is Coda. She is the current dog that I have right now, who is still alive and well. She is going to be 5 years old in August. Love her to death, but she is so different from Abby. I refuse to believe she's a lab mix. They said that. I think that's a lie. She has no lab personality in her at all, in the slightest. She is not affectionate. She's extremely stubborn. She barks at little kids, but then gets anxious when there's wind and then shivers and like cuddles with me because she's scared if there's wind. She's a weird dog. She's a weird dog, but Abby was also a weird dog. We've had some weird dogs in the Contreras family, but I don't love her less. I love her differently. Basically, the easiest way to sum it up is Abby was the best coping mechanism for my anxiety, and Coda has been the best coping mechanism for my depression, and then together they help with both. Even Abby not here, just her thought and her spirit still helps me to this day, and I am very grateful for that. I showcased my personal connections with my 2 dogs to emphasize the impact that animals can really have on people's lives. And I know some people are going to say, oh, I'm allergic. I don't like dogs. I don't like cats. I'm not interested in a pet. I don't have time to take care of a pet. Yada, yada, yada. Everybody is going to make 20 million excuses as to why they shouldn't get a pet, why it's not worth it. I fully respect that if you're in the certain life circumstance where you cannot handle taking care of a pet, or you're not in the financial state to take care of a pet, that is totally fine. But my overall message that I am trying to convey to everybody is the true power that animals, for me specifically dogs, but the true power that animals in general can have on one's emotional stability and on their mental health. And for me personally, having dogs had such a positive impact on my management for depression and anxiety. I haven't yet had to resort to taking medications. I haven't needed to go back to therapy because my dogs are enough of a coping mechanism for me. And I know that's not the case for everybody. Everybody has different mental health issues. Some people are diagnosed with things, other people don't have disorders. So I would also like to say, you don't need to have mental health issues to want a dog. You don't have to have mental health issues to say you're upset or you need coping mechanisms to deal with your issues. Everybody is human. Everybody has their own flaws. Everybody has their own heartaches and losses and life circumstances. And even just for the sake of fun, animals are great. For the sake of physical health, animals are great. They just have such an amazing impact, and I just wanted to share the story of the impact that it's had on me.